In this session, I will discuss about the introduction to complex numbers. First, apart from finding out what is actually the complex numbers, first we will have an idea regarding what is meant by the pure imaginary numbers. If you are considering the equation, if it is in a way that x squared plus 3 equals 0, then if we are finding out the solutions for such equation, then we will get the solution for this type of equation as the equation or the solution of x will be getting as plus or minus square root of minus 3. But if you consider about this value, if you consider about the square root of minus 3, this value does not belongs to the set of real numbers which is denoted by the curly r. Therefore, generally we know how to find the value of square root of 3, but still we are having a problem with getting the value for square root of minus 3 in the set of real numbers. Therefore, in the set of real numbers or within the set of real numbers, we cannot define the square root of minus 3. Therefore, in a situation like this, since we need to get a solution for the equations and the solutions for this type of values, then we are defining the new concept called the pure imaginary numbers. Therefore, instead of finding out the square root of minus 3 under the real numbers, then we are finding out a solution for this type of value inside the imaginary numbers. In the imaginary numbers, we are defining or we are following the concept called as square root of minus 1. Square root of minus 1, we are denoting it using the letter I. Therefore, in general, we can say using this concept, it is actually based on if we are considering I squared, we are defining I squared equals minus 1. That is how in the reverse way we are getting I equals square root of minus 1. Therefore, by combining this or if we are applying this concept in finding out a root for this type of value, then we can get a solution in a way that here if I explain the way, we can say it is equal to root 3. We need to find the value of root 3. Then root 3 can be written as square root of 3 times minus 1. Then this can be written as the square root of 3 times the square root of minus 1. But here what we have defined was square root of minus 1 can be defined as I. Therefore, we can say this answer it is square root of minus 3. We can get it as square root of 3 times I. Therefore, in a situation like this, we are saying this the solution of this type of value can be written as plus or minus square root of 3 times I, where I denotes the square root of minus 1, or else you can say I squared equals minus 1. If you can see a number in this form, then we are naming this type of numbers as the pure imaginary numbers. If you can find out a number in the form of a times I, where a belongs to set of real numbers and I is the value given as square root of minus 1, or in simply if you are considering I squared as minus 1, then if you can find out a number in this form, then we are saying such number as a pure imaginary number. But once you come to discuss about the concept of the complex number is actually a combination of real numbers and the imaginary numbers. Since there is no any real part inside this number, that is why we are saying it as the pure imaginary numbers. It is because only the term associated with the I is the only term that we can see. That's why we can say this type of numbers as pure imaginary numbers. But once we discuss about the complex numbers are made of real number. There is a real part as well as an imaginary part inside the complex number. And we are denoting this complex number, set of complex numbers by this notation C. And we can define the set of complex number in the following way. Here, if you are considering the set of complex number as C, and generally, we are denoting a particular complex number by notation Z. Then, if you can find out the Z in a way that Z equals A plus B times I, where A and B are belongs to set of real numbers, and in a way that I squared equals minus 1. If you can find out all these conditions satisfy, A and B are real numbers and value of I squared equals minus 1, then we can construct a complex number in a way that A plus BI, then this is said to be a form of a complex number. Here you can see that some complex numbers have mentioned here 3 plus 4. Here we can see 3 and plus 4. Here 3 is a real number, 4 is a real number, I is defined as I squared equals minus 1, or I equals square root of minus 1. Then another complex number has defined as Z equals minus 5 plus 2I. Here we can see minus 5 is a real number, 2 is also a real number, and I has the value as root minus 1. In this example, we can see minus 2 minus 5y. Here also you can see minus 2 is a real number as well as minus 5 is a real number. Then I is the imaginary part that we are considering. And when we consider about the values of A and B, according to getting the value of A and B as 0, then we can easily define whether it is a complex number, real number, or a pure imaginary number. If you can see, if you are having a complex number in the form of Z equals, suppose that if you are having the form as Z equals A plus B times I. If we are getting A equals 0, if we are getting A equals 0, then the real part becomes 0, then the only remaining part would be a real, a pure imaginary number. If we are getting A equals 0, then we are getting a pure imaginary number. But if, what will happen if B gets 0? If B gets 0, then this part becomes 0, then only remaining part would be the value A. Therefore, the real part will be the only remaining part inside the complex number. Therefore, this complex number automatically become a real number. But in a situation like that, A does not equal to 0, A does not equal to 0, as well as B does not equal to 0, then we can see that the complex number exists. If we can see that A and B are having non-zero values. Therefore, we can say that therefore, if we are getting non-zero values, then they are definitely complex numbers. But if you see about these A equals 0 and B equals 0, then these can be again considered as they are the subset of complex number. Therefore, if you consider about the complex number, the real numbers and pure imaginary numbers would be subsets. Therefore, if we are having a complex number, then we can denote, if suppose that if we are having complex number in the form Z equals 3 plus 4 times I, here we can define the real part of this Z as well as the imaginary part of the Z. Suppose that if we are considering about the real part of Z, then we can denote it as real of Z. We use this notation to denote the real part of Z. Then we know that the real value of this complex number is equal to 3. Then if you need to get the imaginary value or imaginary number associated with this complex number Z, then we can get imaginary part of Z equals to plus 4. Therefore, this is how we are defining the real part of Z and the imaginary part of Z, and here we got it as 3 and 4 respectively. Now we will discuss about the equality of complex numbers. When we are going to discuss about the equality of the complex numbers, since a complex number is formed by a real part as well as an imaginary part, um, to get or to be a complex number or to be two complex numbers equal to together, then real parts should be equal together as well as the imaginary part should be equal together. Suppose that here if you are considering the form Z equals A plus BI, the real part of this complex number is given as A and imaginary part of this complex number is given as B. And if you are letting that Z1 and Z2 be complex numbers, then if you or if the equality exists among Z1 and Z2, then this condition should be satisfied. Therefore, if Z1 equals to Z2, means that if two complex numbers are equal together, then real part of Z1 equals to the real part of Z2, then imaginary part of Z1 should be equal to the imaginary part of Z2. Therefore, both these conditions should be satisfied. If at least one of these conditions are not getting satisfied, then we cannot say that these two numbers are equal together. Therefore, if both conditions are satisfied, then we can say that the two real numbers are the two complex numbers are equal together. Therefore, using this concept, we can find out the values. Here as an example, it is given. Here, if it is given that if x plus 5i equals minus 11 plus y times I, then we can find out the values of x and y separately. Suppose that if we are having this as, here we are having x plus 5 times I equals minus 11 plus y times I. Here we can see that these are two complex numbers we are having. Then we can see that the equality exists. Since the equality exists, we can say that real part of Z1 is equal to the real part of Z2. Then using this concept, we can say real part of Z1 is x, then real part of Z2 is minus 11. That's why we can get the value as minus 11. Then we need to find the value of y as well. To find the y, what we can do is we can equate the imaginary parts of Z1 and imaginary parts of Z2. We can equate the imaginary parts separately. It is because it is given that the two complex numbers are equal together. Therefore, we can get for the imaginary part of Z1, we can get the value as 5. Then imaginary part of Z2 is y. That's how we are getting this as y equals 5. Then another example is given here. It is given as x plus y times I equals 13 minus 6 times I. Therefore, using the same concept, we can get the value of x equals 13 and y equals minus 6. Therefore, what we have to do is we have to equate the real parts separately, and then we have to equate the imaginary parts separately. Now we will move for the discussion on the operations on complex numbers. Now we will discuss about the addition of the complex number under the operations of complex numbers. As the first operation, I will consider about the addition of complex numbers. Then if we consider about the addition of two complex numbers, then we can consider, suppose that if the first complex number given as Z1 equals to A1 plus B1 times I, and Z2 equals A2 plus B2 times I. Then if you need to add the two complex numbers, what we need to do is the addition can be written in this way. Here Z1 plus Z2, then I have mentioned the number denoted by Z1, it is A1 plus B1 times I. Then it is added to A2 plus B2 times I. Therefore, these are the two numbers. To add these two complex numbers, what we can do is we have to add the real parts separately and then imaginary parts separately. Therefore, this is the way that we are adding two given complex numbers. Add the real parts separately and then we have to add the imaginary parts of the complex numbers separately. As the first example, it is given that let Z1 equals, as the first example, it is given that Z1 equals 3 plus 4i and Z2 is given as 5 plus 2. Then here it is asked to calculate or get the value of Z1 plus Z2. Then if you write down the numbers first, Z1 given as 3 plus 4y, then added to z2 5 plus 2y. Then what we can do is we can add the real parts separately, then 3 and 5 added together, and then what we need to do is we need to add the imaginary parts separately. Therefore here we are getting 4i plus 2i, then altogether we are getting the answer as 3 plus 5 8 plus it is 6 times I. Therefore addition of these two complex numbers getting the value as 8 plus 6 times I. Then in the second example it is given the second one says that z1 equals 2 minus 5 times I, then z2 given as minus 1 plus 2i. Then what we need to do is we need to get the value for z1 plus z2, then value of z1 given as 2 minus 5i plus z2 minus 1 plus 2 times I. Then what we can do is we can add the real parts together, then you'll get the addition, it is 2 plus minus 1, then you can simply say it is 2 minus 1. Sorry, not it here, it is 2 plus minus 1, then added it with minus 5i plus 2i, then we'll get the answer 2 plus minus 1, it is simply 2 minus 1, it is 1, then here minus 5i plus 2i, this plus, here we will get it as minus 3i. That's how we are getting the final answer as 1 minus 3 times I. Then in the third example, it is given as the z1 and z2. Z1 given as minus 3 minus 5i, and z2 is given as minus 2 minus 7, minus 2 minus 7. And if we ask to add these two numbers z1 and z2 together, then first we need to write down the numbers. It is minus 3 minus 5i, then added it with minus 2 minus 7i. Then if we add the values, here we will get minus 3 plus minus 2, then added it to the, here we are getting minus 5i, then add it with minus 7. Then we get the value, it here it is minus 3 minus 2, then added to minus 5i minus 7. Since the multiplication of the bracket with plus sign, no any change with this, no any change done to the minus, since opposite sign, the multiplication of opposite signs gives the negative value. Therefore here we are getting this as minus 3 minus 2, it is minus 5. Here minus 5 by minus 7 altogether, this plus minus 12i. Then we can get this addition as minus 5 minus 12i. Therefore, this is how we are performing the addition among two complex numbers. What we have to do is we have to add the real part separately, and then we need to add the imaginary part of the complex number separate. That's how we are getting the addition of two complex numbers. Then we will move for the discussion about the multiplication of a complex number by a scale. Here, if you are having the complex number as z1 equals a1 plus beta b1 times I, and we will let that lambda is a scalar. Then if we need to find out the lambda times z1, here what we are doing is the complex number is multiplied with an scalar called lambda. Then lambda times z1 can be obtained as lambda times a1 plus b1 times I. Scalar is multiplied with the complex number, or the complex number multiplied with the scalar. In here, what we have to do is we have to multiply the real part separately with the scalar, and then the imaginary part separately with the scalar. Therefore, if we consider about the calculation of the set of values mentioned, or a set of examples mentioned here, if they are getting this z equals 3 plus 4y, and if you ask to evaluate the value of 5 times z, then what we can do is we can first write down 5 is the scalar we are having, and z is the complex number. Here it is given as 3 plus 4 times I. Now what we need to do is we need to multiply the real part separately with the scalar. Then we'll get it is 5 times 3. Then here we are having the plus sign. Then we'll get 5 times 4i. Then altogether we are getting it as 15 plus 20i. Then in the next example, in the second example, we are getting z given as minus 2 plus 3i, and you are asked to obtain the value of minus z. Minus z in the sense here we can say it is minus 1 multiplied with z, minus 1 times z. Then we can get it as minus 1 value of z, it is minus 2 plus 3i. Then we can do the multiplication. Real part has to be multiplied with the scalar, minus 1 into minus 2. Then added it with the multiplication of imaginary part. It is minus 1 multiplied with 3 times I. Here we are getting minus 1 times minus 2, it is plus 2. Then it is plus with here minus 1 into 3i, it is minus 3i. Then we get this as 2 minus 3 times I. 2 minus 3 times I. And if we consider about the third example says that z equals 6 minus 7 9, and we are asked to find out the value of z divided by 5. Even though it is given as a division, z divided by 5, we can convert it as a multiplication. If you consider about this in a way that 1 over 5 multiplied with the complex number, then we can see 1 over 5 is a scalar. Then we can get the value as 1 over 5 times. Then value of z, it is 6 minus 7i. Using the same concept, we can obtain the answer. Here the real part multiplied with this, then we'll get it as 6 over 5. Then imaginary part multiplied with the 1 over 5, then we'll get 7i over 5. Then we will move for the next part. It is the subtraction of imaginary numbers. Suppose that Z1 is defined as A1 plus B1 times I, and Z2 is defined as A2 plus B2I. Then if we need to get the subtraction of among these Z1 and Z2, here we'll get Z1 minus Z2. Then we can get it in a way that it is the subtraction of real parts and the subtraction of the imaginary parts separately. Therefore, a1 plus b1i minus a2 plus b2i, then we'll get it as a1 minus a2, it is the subtraction of real part, then added to subtraction of imaginary part, it is b1 minus b2 times I. Therefore, if I illustrate these examples, here the first example says that if z1 equals 3 plus 4i and z2 equals 5 plus 2y. We consider about the first example. Z1 given as 3 plus 4y, and Z2 gives us 5 plus 2. Then we'll get it as Z1 minus Z2. Here we cannot change the order since Z1 is the first value or the first number they asked to, and Z2 is the quantity that we asked to subtract from Z1. Then we can get it as Z1, it is 3 plus 4i, then minus, it is 5 plus 2i. Now we can see that the negative sign here, it is quite like multiplying it by a scalar, as this minus 1 times this quantity. Therefore, we'll consider this first. Here we'll get 3 plus 4i, and then if you multiply this, then we'll get it as minus 5 minus 2i. Then real parts has to be solved separately, and the imaginary parts has to be solved separately. Therefore, we'll get it is 3 minus 5, it is minus 2, then plus 4y minus 2y. Here we are getting it as plus 2y. Therefore, the subtraction of these two complex numbers get the answer as minus 2 plus 2 times I. Then if you discuss about the second example, in the second example, it is given that Z1 equals 2 minus 5y, and Z2 it is given as minus 1 plus 2y, minus 1 plus 2y. Now we need to get the value for Z1 minus Z2, then we can get it as 2 plus 5y. This is the value for Z1, then minus Z2, it is minus 1 plus 2y. Then what we can do is the easiest way is solve in the bracket first. Then we'll get it as 2 plus 5y. Here minus 1 with minus 1 becomes plus 1. Minus with plus 2y. Here we'll get it as minus 2y. Then we'll get the final answer. 2 plus 1, it is 3. Then plus 5y minus 2y. Here we'll get it as plus 3 times I. And if you see about the third example on this as well, the third example says that it is minus Z1 is minus 3 minus 5i, and Z2 is minus 2 minus 7i. And we are asked to get the value for Z1 minus Z2. Here what we can do is first value is Z1, then we can write it as minus 3 minus 5i, then subtraction Z2, it is minus 2 minus 7i, then we'll get the values minus 3 minus 5y. Here we'll get minus times minus, it is plus 2, then minus times minus 7i, it is plus 7i. Then we'll get all together minus 3 plus 2i. Here we'll get minus 1, then minus 5i plus 7i. Here we'll get it as plus 2i. But if I see about the other way around, suppose that if you need to get the value for Z2 minus Z1, now Z2 is the number which comes first, then we'll get it as minus 2 minus 7i. Then we have to subtract the quantity minus 3 minus 5i from the initial quantity. Then we'll get it as minus 2 minus 7i. Then minus into minus, it will become plus 3. Then minus into minus, again it will plus become plus 5i. Then altogether we will get minus 2 plus 3, it will become plus 1, then minus 7i plus 5i, then we will get it as minus 2i. Therefore, using this using these two values, what we can see is we can build up a relationship among these as well. Therefore, we can say that same as the numbers, real numbers, Z1 minus Z2 is equal to, if you multiply this part with minus, again we'll get the initial one. Therefore, it will be equal to minus time z2 minus z1 as well. Therefore, we can show this equality as well. Now we will discuss about the multiplication of complex numbers. Z1 is defined as A1 plus B1I and Z2 is defined as A2 plus B2I. Then the multiplication of Z1 and Z2, we can get it as A1 plus B1 times I. Then this quantity has to be multiplied with A2 plus B2I. Then the same as the solving brackets in the when we are solving the brackets in algebra, then using the same concept we need to get the solutions. Then solving the brackets, here a1, the second bracket, the quantity inside the elements inside second bracket has to be multiplied with a1, then a1 times a2 plus a1 times b2 times I, then added to b1 times a2 times I. Here we'll get a2 times b1 times I. Then the multiplication of b1 times I with b2 I. Then multiplication of b1 with b2 will get b1 b2 and I multiplied with I. Then we'll get the value as I square. Therefore, if we see about whether we can solve this furthermore, a1 and a2, we have to keep it as it is, and these two terms are including the term I. Therefore, we cannot solve this furthermore. But if you see about the last term, here you can see that I squared, the existence of I squared. Instead of I squared, we can use it as minus 1. Therefore, here we will get it as plus b1 times b2 times. Instead of I squared, we can replace it with minus 1. Therefore, if you replace it with minus 1, then what will we get here is, here we will get it as a1, a2. Here we are getting a1, b2 times I, then a2, b1 times I. But multiplication of b1 with b2 with minus 1, here we will get it as minus b1 times b2. Then now you can see that these are the two terms which are the terms which we can consider as the terms with real part. It is because there is no any association with the letter I. Then we can take both of these into a single bracket. Therefore, we can write it as a1 times a2 minus b1 times b2, and it would be the real part of the final answer. And then a1 times b2 plus a2 times b1 times I. Here, what we have done was taken I out of this, and inside the bracket, the real values are mentioned, and thereafter multiplied with the term I. Now, if we consider about some examples, but prior to moving for the examples, uh, if you need, you can directly use this concept, or else the easiest way, as I think, what we can do is we can just continue this. Then it is no need to memorize this type of equation. Therefore, if you see about to getting the solutions for multiplication of two complex numbers, then we can get it in this way. Suppose that here, if I do the first example here, Z1, it is 3 plus 4i, and Z2 given as 5 plus 2y. Now, if we are taking the multiplication of Z1 with Z2, here we can see Z1 is 3 plus 4y, Z2 is 5 plus 2y. Now what we need to do is we have to solve the brackets. 3 multiplied with 5, 15. 3 multiplied with 2y, 6i. 4i multiplied with 5, 20 times I. Then 4i multiplied with 2y, it is 8i square. Then we'll get this as 15. 8 is 6i plus 20i. altogether we'll get it as 26i. But here this I squared, then we can write it as 8 times minus 1. Instead of I squared, we can write it as minus 1. Then we'll get it as 15 plus 26i minus 8. Then the solution will be given as 7 plus 26 times I. If we see about the second example mentioned here, the second example, in the second example, Z1 is 2 minus 5i and Z2 is minus 1 times 1 plus 2i. Then if we get the value for Z1 times Z2, Z1 is given as 2 minus 5i, Z2 it is minus 1 plus 2i. Then we can get the multiplication here, 2 times minus 1, it is minus 2. Then 2 times plus 2i, it is 4y. Then minus 5i minus 1, it is plus 5 times I. Then minus 5i plus 2i, altogether we are getting minus 10 I squared. But what we know is value of I squared is minus 1. Then we will get it as minus 2 plus 4i plus 4i plus 5i. Altogether we can get the value as 9 times I. Then minus 10, we can see the value minus 10. Instead of I squared, we can replace it by minus 1. Then we'll get it as minus 2 plus 9 times I plus 10. Altogether we get 8 plus 9i. Then the third example, here it is given as Z1, it is minus 3 minus 5i. Z2 minus 2 minus 7i. Then we'll get Z1 into Z2. They have to multiply these two quantities. Then once we multiply the quantities accordingly, we'll get it as minus 3 into minus 2, it is plus 6, then plus 21 times I plus 10i. Then we'll get multiplication of minus 5i with minus 7i. Altogether we'll get it as minus plus 35 I squared. But instead of using I squared, we can replace it by minus 1. Then we'll get it as here will plus 6, then 21i plus 10i, altogether we'll get 31i. Then 35i squared will become minus 35. Then we'll get the final answer as minus 29 plus 31i. Therefore, this is how we are conducting the multiplication of complex number. Now we will discuss about the modulus and conjugate of a complex number. We'll see how to get the modulus and conjugate of a complex number. If we get the complex number in the form of z equals a plus bi, then we can define the modulus of this complex number as the square root of a squared plus b squared, and it can be denoted by the notation z modulus. Therefore, here we can say the z is given as a plus b times I. Then we can find out the modulus of z. It can be again denoted as this notation as well, modulus of z. Then it can be obtained by square root of a squared plus b squared. Therefore, you taking the square root of the addition of the square terms of a and b will get the modulus of the complex number. Since we are getting the modulus, then generally the modulus of a complex number will consider a positive part only. We are not going to think about the negative value of this, only we are considering the positive part of this square root only. Therefore, always we can say that modulus of a complex number would be always a positive real number. Since we are getting the addition of two square terms, then definitely we are getting a real number inside, or real positive number inside the square root. Therefore, definitely we will end up with the modulus as a positive real number. And now we will see about the conjugate of a modulus, conjugate of a complex number. Suppose that Z is given as a plus bi, then the conjugate of this modulus, the conjugate of this complex number is defined as a minus b times I. The only difference is the connecting sign. A is same as before, but the sign which connects the real part with the imaginary part, now it is changed. Therefore, we'll get the conjugate for Z as A minus BI, and it is denoted as Z bar. Therefore, if you take the modulus of Z bar as suppose that if you consider about this and take the modulus, then we'll get the modulus as A squared plus B squared. But if you consider about the conjugate, the modulus of the conjugate, it is quite modulus of Z bar, then we'll get it as A squared plus minus B squared, then we'll get it as again A squared plus B squared. Therefore, we can say this as well. If you get the modulus and the modulus of the conjugate, we will get the equal value. And if you add the if you add the complex number with if you add the complex number and its conjugate, then you can get a real number. It is just 2 times the real part of the complex number. That's why it is denoted as 2 times real part of z. Here we can show it as in this way. Suppose that if you are adding the complex number and its conjugate, complex number written as a plus b times I, and added to a minus b times I, where a minus bi is the conjugate of the complex number. Therefore, if you perform the calculation, you will get a plus bi, then the multiplication with the bracket with the plus sign, here you'll get it as a minus bi. Plus bi cancel out with minus bi, then the remaining term is 2 times a, where it is equal to a is the, here we'll know that z equals a plus bi, and what we know is real part of z is equal to a, then it is equal to the 2 times the real part of the complex number. And if you multiply the complex number with its conjugate, we'll see what we will get. Then we'll get the multiplication of a complex number with its conjugate. We will get it as a plus bi times a minus bi. And if we perform the calculation, here it is what we know, that a plus b times a minus b, we know that it can be written as a squared minus b squared in algebra, and using it is quite the difference of the squared terms. Therefore, using this concept, here also we will get it as a squared then minus b squared. It is b squared times I squared, then we'll get it as a squared plus b squared, since value of I squared is equal to minus 1. Here we'll get the multiplication of a complex number with its conjugate. We'll get the value as a squared plus b squared, where we can get it as the square term of the modulus of the complex number. Therefore, we'll get it as square term of the modulus of the complex number. And the next thing what we have found in here is the modulus of a complex number and modulus of a conjugate of a complex number are two equal values. Therefore, we can say that if we are multiplying a complex number with its conjugate, then it is equal to the square term of modulus of the complex number, or the square term of the modulus of the conjugate of the complex number. Then we will see about these calculations as well. Then here it is given that z equals 3 plus 4i, z equals 3 plus 4i. If we take the modulus of z, what we can do is we can take the square term of 3 plus square term of 4. Then we'll get it as 9 plus 16. Altogether we are getting 25 square root of 25, which equals to 5. But if you see about the second one, it is z equals minus 2 plus 3i. Then modulus of z can be taken as minus 2 squared plus 3 squared. Then we'll get it as 4 plus 9 square root of 4 plus 9. Then altogether we'll get this value as root 30. Then for the third example, z is equal to 6 minus 7 9. Then if you'll get the modulus of z, then we'll get it as 6 squared plus minus 7 squared. Then we'll get 6 squared is 36 plus minus 7 squared, we'll get it as 49, and altogether we have to add them and take the square root. Then we'll get the addition of 36 and 49, we'll get the value as 85, and we'll get the square root of 85 as the modulus of z equals 6 minus 7 times I. And now if we see about the conjugate of these set of complex numbers, here we can see that z is given as 3 plus 4i, then its conjugate. Here we can see z is equals to 3 plus 4i. Then conjugate can be written as z bar, and it can be written as no any change in the real part, but the connected sign, since it is connected with plus sign, it will be changing, then it will become to 3 minus, it will written as 3 minus 4 times I. Then if you see about the second bar, minus 2 plus 3i, then z bar can be taken as minus 2 has to be written as it is, then plus 3i, then it has to be rearranged as minus 3 times I. Plus sign changes with minus. Then last example on this, z equals 6 minus 7i. Then we'll get z bar equals 6. It is the real part, but the connected sign should be changed. Then it will become plus. Then the next part would be 7i. Therefore, this is how we are finding out the modulus and the conjugate of a complex number. Now we will discuss about the multiplicative inverse. If suppose that z and omega are two complex numbers such that z omega equals to omega z, which equals to plus 1, then we can say that omega is the multiplicative inverse of z, and it can be denoted in this notation. Therefore, if suppose that if there is two complex numbers in the way that z and omega, if you multiply z and omega, then if you are getting the same value as multiplying it with omega times z, and if you are getting that value as 1, then we can say that omega is the multiplicative inverse of z, and it is denoted as using this notation z inverse. And z inverse can be computed using this equation. Z inverse can be computed using conjugate of z divided by the square term of the modulus of z. Using this equation, we can simply calculate the multiplicative inverse for a complex number. Therefore, according to this equation, we'll try to get a value for the z inverse, or what we are saying as the multiplicative inverse. Therefore, z is given as 3 plus 4 times I. Then we are asked to find out the multiplicative inverse of Z. To find out the multiplicative inverse of Z, we can use the equation Z inverse is equal to conjugate of Z divided by the square term of the modulus of Z. Therefore, what we need to do is we need to get the conjugate first, and thereafter we need to get the modulus of Z as well. Then if we get the conjugate of Z, we can get it as Z bar. Then it can be taken as 3 minus 4 times I. Then modulus of Z can be taken as the square root of 3 squared plus 4 squared. Yeah, I will keep it the square root. It is because we need to get the square term as well. 3 squared, it is 9 plus 16. Altogether, we are getting it as root 25. If you need, we can get the value as 5. But we need its square term to calculate the Z inverse or the multiplicative inverse of Z. Then it can be considered or written as Z multiplicative inverse of Z. Then conjugate is given as 3 minus 4y, then divided by the square term of modulus, then square term of modulus will get it as 5 squared, then dividing by 5 squared in the sense multiply it by 1 over 5 squared, then we can get it as multiplied with 1 over 5 squared times, here we are getting 3 minus 4i, then altogether we will get it as 1 over 25, 5 squared in the sense 25, then it is quite like now the scalar multiplication 3 minus 4i, then we'll get it as 3 over 25 minus 4 over 25 times. Therefore, this is how we are getting the scalar multiplication of a complex number. This is how we are getting the multiplicative inverse of a complex number using the concept of conjugate and the modulus. Now, there are two other examples given, and you can refer for these examples as well. Finding out the multiplicative inverse, given that by combining the conjugate and the modulus. Therefore, if the Z is given as minus 2 plus 3i, then its multiplicative inverse will be given as minus 2 over 13 minus 3 over 13 times I. Then Z is given as 6 minus 7, 9. Then multiplicative inverse is given as 6 over 85 plus 7 over 85 times I. Then we will move for the next part. It is the division of complex number. Suppose that Z1 and Z2 are two complex numbers. The quotient of Z1 and Z2 is defined as the product of Z1 and multiplicative inverse of Z2. Therefore, if you see about this concept, dividing or division of the complex numbers. Here, suppose that if it is given as Z1 divided by Z2, then rather than dividing the complex numbers in this way, here what we are going to consider is Z1, then it is 1 over Z2, therefore this can be written as Z inverse. Therefore, here we'll get it as Z2 inverse. Therefore, instead of considering the quotient of Z1 and Z2, what we are considering here is Z1 or the product of Z1 with the multiplicative inverse of Z2. Therefore, this is how we are dividing two complex numbers. Here we can see that Z1 is 6 minus 7i and Z2 is given as minus 2 plus 3i. And if we are considering about the division of these two complex numbers, Z1 and Z2, here we can get the division of Z1 with Z2. In this way, Z1 is given as 6 minus 7i and Z2 is minus 2 plus 3i. But rather than considering the division of Z1 and Z2, we can consider the product of Z1 with the multiplicative inverse of Z2. Here, if I take this example, Z1 is given as 6 minus 7, 9. Z2 is given as minus 2 plus 3, minus 2 plus 3. Here what we need to do is we need to get the quotient of Z1 and Z2. Instead of getting the quotient, what we can do consider is we can consider Z1 multiplied with multiplicative inverse of Z2. But the multiplicative inverse of Z2 can be considered as the conjugate of Z2 divided by the square term of modulus of Z2. Then as the first thing we will find out the multiplicative inverse of Z2. Then we can get the multiplicative inverse of Z2 as first the conjugate of Z2. Conjugate of Z2, it is minus 2 minus 3i. But still we do not know what is the square term of the modulus of Z2. Then I'm writing modulus of Z2. The square root of here it is minus 2 squared plus 3 squared. Then we'll get it as 4 plus 9. Altogether we'll get it as root 30. Then we'll get the square term of root 13. Then we'll get it as minus 2 minus 3i over 30. Here I will keep this value as it is. It is because I have to have the multiplication, and at the end I will try to have this division with the real number. Therefore, since I need to evaluate or obtain a value for this, then it can be written as now Z1 over Z2, written as Z1 times multiplicative inverse of Z2. Z1 is obtained as 6 minus 7, 9. Z2 inverse or the multiplicative inverse of Z2, it is given as minus 2 minus 3i divided by 30. Now as soon as we see this, you can see that this is divided by scalar or divided by a real number, therefore we can take it out as a scalar, therefore 1 over 13 taken out. Then we can simply have the multiplication of two real numbers. Here it is minus 2 minus 5. Now once you perform the calculation, 1 over 13, here we'll get 6 into minus 2, it is minus 12, then 6 with minus 3i, minus 18i. Then here we'll get this value as plus 49. Then here we'll get it as plus 21 I squared. But I squared can be written as minus 1. Then we can compute it as 1 over 13. Then minus 12. Addition of these two imaginary terms, minus 18i plus 14i. Here we'll get it as minus 4i. Then plus 21 I squared, then we'll get it as again minus 21. Since I squared equals minus 1, then we'll get it as 1 over 13. Here we are having the values minus 12 minus 21i, it is minus 33 minus 4i. Then we can get the final answer as minus 33 over 13 minus 4 over 13, and therefore the division of these two complex numbers gets the value as minus 33 over 13 over minus 4 over 13. Here you can see the calculation as well, and here there is another example, and you can try it by yourselves. And here this is all what I need to discuss under this session, and thank you all for your participation.